Good evening. Welcome to the Yorkton News at 5. The Saskatchewan Medical Association is sounding the alarm over the province's compulsory addictions treatment plan, saying involuntary treatment does pose some significant risks.
There's actually evidence that shows that it might increase the risk of overdose following release, because people will have had a sudden decrease in their tolerance, and if they haven't had the supports that they need in place to maintain their sobriety when they leave, if they go out and use the same substances they used before, they're at increased risk of overdose.
It is dubbed the Compassionate Intervention Act. The provincial government says compulsory treatment supports individuals with severe addictions who are not capable of seeking help despite serious health and safety risks. Methods in which individuals can be brought to a compassionate intervention assessment center are by a police or peace officer referred by a medical professional, or even through a judge's warrant.
This is for those individuals that actually don't have the capacity to make that decision on their own. So what we're doing is we're finding a space for those individuals.
The province hopes to pass this bill through the legislature during the spring session. Watchers RCMP are asking for your help to identify a suspect. They want to ask the person on your screen some questions in relation to an ongoing investigation. Now, Mounties say on March the 22nd, they received a report of a person committing an indecent act in Manitou Beach. The man is in his early to mid-20s, about 220 pounds, with brown hair. If you recognize this person in the picture, please call police or Crime Stoppers. Battleford RCMP have arrested a couple with an illegal ingredient on their pizza. A man and woman were arrested after police searched their vehicle and found 126 grams of suspected methamphetamine hidden in a pizza box. Interesting. The substances are undergoing further testing. A 70-year-old man from Wilkie and a 26-year-old woman from North Battleford have been charged with 1 count each of possession for the purpose of trafficking. A Saskatchewan woman says she is out thousands of dollars after an insurance payout never reached her account.
I'm really worried that I won't get that money. Like, we need that money. We're down a vehicle.
Back in January, Francis Uwanchuk's son hit a deer riding off the family vehicle. Now, SGI approved an $11,000 payout, offering to send the money online. When she put in the password, she got an error message, but SGI told her the money was successfully deposited. Her bank, RBC, says it can't say who received the money or where it was deposited, but pointed to fraud as a possible explanation. Uwanchuk later realized the e-transfer was spam sent from an email not associated with SGI. Tech expert Carmi Levy believes this e-transfer wasn't an e-transfer at all. It was a link for scammers to get in.
They knew in some way that she was expecting a payment. And so they capitalized on that, made the message look like it would have come from a legitimate source.
Levy believes the real e-transfer was sent, but it was intercepted and redirected. In an email to CTV News, SGI says it can't comment on specific claims, but confirmed it does provide e-transfers up to $25,000. Battleford's RCMP are investigating. The community of Duck Lake will not be renamed after all. Last fall, a campaign was launched that would accept bids to buy the naming rights to the town. The minimum acceptable bid was $10 million. The town's mayor said the deadline for offers was on Tuesday, and there were no bidders, which would have required a vote amongst residents before a final name change could happen. The idea of selling naming rights for the community, which is steeped in Métis history, was upsetting for many of the 500 residents. The mayor says although the campaign did not provide a bidder, it did spark interest from developers, which he says hasn't happened in years. All right, let's go to Sabine in the Weather Center as we get set for the Easter long weekend. What can we expect in the parkland?
Well, we'll continue to start to see a gradual warm up. It may not feel like it today just because we saw cloudier conditions, and the clouds are going to still linger around heading into tomorrow before we see more sunshine, Lee. But even today, especially in the parkland, Yorkton warmed up to just above 0, so we're gradually getting there. By the time we get into the weekend, we'll see some warmer temperatures, but just got to fight through some of this cloud cover. Now, I mean, I guess some good news could be that there is a system that was to the south of us that as of right now we were looking, it looked like it was going to be tracking into Saskatchewan. We've seen snow arrive in Alberta, continuing to see more snow in the Calgary area, and now the system looks like it was supposed to come our way, is now diverting into Manitoba. So for now, no snow expected in the forecast, just cloudy conditions that we'll continue to see slowly clearing out before the sun arrives. So taking a look at tomorrow, we're still expecting +1 as the daytime high, and even tonight seasonal lows at -7. But I'll have all the details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
Thank you. After beating the Melville Millionaires for the second straight SJHL postseason, the Yorkton Terriers are ready to face the Battleford's North Stars in the second series of the playoffs. Now, the coach says this is going to be a tight one, with both teams finishing the season with 76 points. In his second season with Yorkton, goaltender Caleb Craig has been solid in the pipes, averaging just over 2 goals per game in the playoffs. He'll be important as the North Stars have one of the best scoring attacks in the league. The Terriers will also lean on last year's experience when they went to the league semifinals as well.
This was now, an expectation and almost an eventuality for us, which is important because, now in the second round we're looking to do better than we were last year, and I do think we're more prepared for it.
Game 1 is Friday in Yorkton, where attendance has been averaging more than 1,600 fans for the playoffs. Next month, the Riders will head to Saskatoon for training camp as the defending Grey Cup champions. Quarterback Trevor Harris excited to see what kind of jump the receiving corps can make together. He believes 4 receivers could crack 1,000 yards this season. As for the team, he believes the sky's the limit.
To say that I came to Saskatchewan just to win one would be a lie. I didn't come here to win a Grey Cup or to win 1 Grey Cup or to even win 2. I came here to see how high we could. To leave this place a better place than we found it. And Coach Macy's done a great job leading the troops to do that. And I think we're in the beginning stages of a great era to be a Saskatchewan Roughrider, and I'm just grateful that I get to be a part of it. And I'm looking forward to hopefully taking this organization another step further this year and making this organization and team where it needs to be in terms of history and historic greatness.
Rookie camp starts on May the 6th, with main camp starting on May the 10th. A handful of Team Canada Olympians and Paralympians from Saskatchewan were recognized for their accomplishments today at the Legislative Building. A contingent of athletes, coaches, judges and more were honored inside the government building for representing Saskatchewan at the most recent Olympics in Milano Cortina earlier this year. That included figure skating judge Karen Howard and wheelchair curling gold medalist Gil Dash.
For the people reaching out to me saying they're proud, and it's a goal accomplished. So I'm proud to be from Canada, just like the 3,000 fans in that game cheering for Canada, 99% of them. So that's a great thing.
Dash says he hasn't had time to respond to the sheer outpouring of support from all over the province since he returned from the Paralympics. And man, Saskatchewan athletes did very well at the Paralympics this year. All right, we'll go to weather after the break. As you can see, some wind, but overall not a bad day. Let's take a look at the Easter weekend forecast coming up.
Cloudy conditions for most of the parkland, most of southern Saskatchewan, most of the day as well. We did start out in the, that looked like, there's some little scattered flurries happening there. We did start out the day with some wind gusts up to about 30, 35 kilometers an hour. And then we saw it calm. Well, we didn't see it calm, but came down to about 20, 25 kilometers an hour. And then late this afternoon, those wind speeds have picked back up for many parts of southern Saskatchewan, including the parkland. But as I mentioned earlier, we did warm up above 0 for parts of the parkland like Yorkton. And there's not much to show you for active weather-wise. It's just stayed mostly just cloudy conditions. Now, this is a system I was talking about that's coming through Alberta. The southwest is dealing with some snow, especially around that Maple Creek Swift Current, even up into the Kindersley area. Could see up to about 5 centimeters of snow, but it's really not making its way any further. There is a chance that we'll see some scattered precipitation making its way into the Saskatoon area a little later into Friday. But other than that, for what we can expect heading into the parkland for the rest of tonight into tomorrow. Slight chance again of some very, very scattered flurries, but doesn't really look like it's going to get far up into the parkland. And then by the time we get into Friday, we'll see mostly cloudy conditions, and the clouds are expected to stick around for heading into the overnight, heading into your weekend. Well, I guess Friday will be your long weekend, the start of your long weekend, but for Saturday anyways. Now, for reference for our temperatures tonight, average low is usually hovering around about -6, -7. So we are within that range. A little cooler for the Melville area at -8. Hudson Bay, Swan River expecting a low of -9, but warmer than average for Humboldt Watrous at -2. And again, the same theme continues with the cloud cover tonight and into tomorrow. But also good news, tomorrow, now the daytime average for the parkland usually is about +5, +6. So Hudson Bay is expecting to get there with an expected high of 5 degrees. 3 for Swan River with mix of sun and cloud conditions. And then the rest expecting cloudy conditions. 2 degrees for Humboldt, Watrous and Melville, and 1 for Wynyard. For Yorkton tonight, we'll continue to see cloudy conditions, -7, warming up to no, is that correct? I'm going to have to double check that one. We're going to warm up to 1 degree. That's what I don't know why it has 7 on there. 1 degree with a low of -7. And then as we take a look at what's to come, we're still going to see those temperatures for the most part staying above 0. But there's some things that I do want to point out. So I said we don't have snow coming up into your long weekend. We will see cloudier conditions come Sunday, 0, but the wind speeds will pick up, gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour. Now, as we head into Sunday, temperature drops below 0 at -4. Sunny conditions though, and then by Tuesday expect those wind speeds picking back up. By Tuesday we could also see some rain in the mix heading into the evening. +2 is the expected high. Wednesday, high wind gusts up to 70, and that is the one day we are expecting to see some very light snowfall in the mix as well. By Thursday, a little bit more sunshine. Temperature drops down to -1.
Up next, we are catching up with the Mayor of Yorkton, Mayor Kienle. Stay with us to learn more.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization? Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-786-8444 or email yorktonnews@bellmedia.ca. You can appear on CTV Yorkton's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
Welcome back. Today my guest is the Mayor of Yorkton, Mayor Kienle. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, great to be here. Great to have you back in the office.
It's been quite some time. I haven't been here for a month, I think.
Yeah, I mean, last time we were here, I think we did the announcement about Living Skies Music Festival, and so yeah, it's been a little bit.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm kind of relieved that you're not wearing a Melville Millionaires jersey.
Yeah, really excited that the Yorkton Terriers were able to win our rivalry, and now they're moving on to play Battleford, so yeah, it's exciting.
Super exciting indeed, but let's just talk about the serious stuff. So what have you been up to in March?
March has been an incredibly busy month. I think one of the highlights certainly was attending the legislature in Regina for Budget Day. Always a really good day to not only hear what's coming down as far as the provincial budget, but also to do a lot of networking, relationship building, and talks with different ministers and different people in the government.
For sure. So how should we imagine, say, a day in Regina during budget season?
It's a wild day. I mean, you'd have to talk to my staff. For me, I just get right into it. As I was kind of debriefing and going through everything, I think I visited with about 9 or 10 ministers in their offices. So honestly, budget ends, it's presented, everybody kind of breaks to their different offices and does media. And so for myself, we had a meeting set up with Mr. Ryder. So pretty impressive that the Minister of Finance immediately after was able to give us some time to meet with him. And then after that, it's basically like connecting with other colleagues, heading to their offices, having different meetings. And so was able to, honestly, we were there right till the very end. And then worked out perfect with timing that on our way out, the Premier was doing some media and everybody else was gone from the building. So I got some alone time and a good visit with the Premier for 5-10 minutes before he went from one television station to another. And yeah, it was a great day.
And what were you talking about, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, so obviously everybody is aware that there's $1.8 million earmarked for the new Yorkton Hospital and for the pre-design phase. So that, of course, was very exciting, I think, for the residents and also for us to see Yorkton come up and the Yorkton Hospital come up in the budget. However, one of our greatest needs that maybe isn't quite as sexy and not as many people are talking about it is a wastewater treatment plant. So a lot of my conversations have to do with that because it's a $200 million project. It's absolutely vital for our city. And in fact, as it ties to the new hospital, I don't think we could see a project of that size, a building, a facility of that size happen with our current wastewater treatment plant. So it's really important that we get buy-in from both the provincial government as well as the federal government, and we find funds ourselves to be able to do the wastewater treatment plant so that it's ready when the new hospital is built. And the same goes for any expansion out in our industrial sector or any housing that's going to be built. We're really at capacity. We're past regulatory compliance. So there's a lot that needs to happen there, and a lot of my conversations kind of centered around that.
And would you say this conversation, albeit it was, you said, 10 minutes, do you think it was fruitful?
Yeah, honestly, I thought, like, I came back from that day. We had a dinner afterwards and met with some other members of the government throughout our dinner, and then loaded up myself, Randy Golden, who does double duty as both a counselor as well as president of SUMA, and a couple of my staff members. And it was like excitement in the vehicle. It was a really, really successful day. We had a lot of good meetings, a lot of good conversations, including the one with the Premier. He's certainly fully aware of the necessity of the wastewater treatment plant and of having that piece of that facility renewed. And so between him and a number of the ministers, Minister of Government Relations, Minister of Finance, Minister Kading from just down the way, Minister Wilson as well, all these guys, very, very important that they understand the situation and are looking for different ways to help us when it comes to funding because it's such a large project.
For sure. But moving away from Regina and closer to home, closer to Yorkton, what else did happen in March here?
Well, March, I mean, the music festival announcement was really a big thing. This is something that we've been looking forward to for a decade, finding a way to bring a big event to Yorkton. And we were thinking just a single concert. In this case, it's a full weekend in August. We've had the announcement of the bands as you were here for that. There's now been a few other bands added. Collect Assembly last week was nominated for a Juno, so they were out east at the Juno Awards. Unfortunately didn't win, but still a nomination is huge, and being a part of the event there I think is good for their career. They're going to be playing at the Music Festival, I believe, on the Country Day. There's also, just going to look at a note here, Cooper Trupeau he's going to be playing on the Country Day from Saskatoon, as well as Great Fuss, a rock band. So some good artists. That is maybe not public information just yet, but you heard it here first. So yeah, there's more stuff being added to that weekend. It's really exciting. We also are looking at, we had our very first meeting as it relates to JC Beach and the Hopkins Lake revitalization, another thing that I think will really build our community and build our culture, both the festival as well as bringing back JC Beach, something that I talk to people who are just a little older than me, and their best memories of their childhood and their teenage years happened at that lake. So looking forward to what can come from that.
It's a funny thing because my mother-in-law is actually from this area and she has very fond memories of JC Beach. She actually said it's an old kissing spot.
I've heard all kinds of things went down at JC Beach. I had one guy tell me that he used to carry his bike out to the dock and get out there and show off to all the other kids and ride his bike right off the dock. Lots of stories about sneaking out there with girls and guys and having, some early teenage years fun. Lots of walking trails. It was such just a really vibrant area and part of our city that's kind of been neglected over the years. And so to be able to bring that back, I think it's just a true testament of what we're trying to do here.
Sounds very exciting. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Hey, it's Chase back from Pure Country Mornings to countdown to this week's top 5. Luke Combs is going to start us off at number 5 with Sleepless in a Hotel Room. Sleepless in a hotel room. Starting to drop, he's down to 2 spots. Max McNown, Better Me For You, Brown Eyes, is number 4 this week. Better Me For You. Luke Combs, so nice, he's in the countdown twice. Yes, he is at number 3 with Days Like These. Ella Langley is out of the top spot for the first time in over a month. She doesn't fall far. She's runner-up this week with Choosing Texas.
It's Choosing Texas, I can tell.
And that means brand new #1 song for you. He actually jumped up 4 spots from last week. Justin Moore, Time's Ticking, is this week's top song.
Time's a ticking.
Thanks for counting down this week's top 5 with us. Catch all of these and the rest of your favorites with Pure Country 92.7. You can find us with the free iHeartRadio app.
The provincial NDP says that internal health authority information shows that 22 cases of tuberculosis diagnosed between January 1st and February 28th of 2026. January 1st was 2025 across Prince Albert and some of the surrounding areas. Now, the NDP says the general public has the right to know if there is an outbreak in order to take preventative measures. The province says the risk to the general public is low.
It is not easily spread. To be infected, you generally must have a close friend, frequent or prolonged contact over a long period of several hours with someone to become infectious. When public health becomes aware of a TB case, work is done to identify and directly contact people who have been potentially exposed.
The NDP says there are active cases right now in northern Saskatchewan. The Saskatchewan Health Authority reminding people that severely immunocompromised adults and children now eligible to be immunized against COVID-19. It says between April 1st and June 15th, all adults 65 and older, adults 18 years and older in long-term care, private care homes, and other group living settings, as well as anyone 6 months of age and older who are moderately to severely immunocompromised because of a condition or treatment are eligible. People can make an appointment at SHA clinics and participating pharmacies.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
And the Cannes Film Festival says it'll be screening the directorial debut of Hollywood icon John Travolta. Along with a first look image right there, Propeller One-Way Night Coach. It's an adaptation of the book written, illustrated, and published by Travolta back in 1997. Inspired by his passion for aviation to create the title for his son. It tells the story of a young airplane enthusiast on a journey to Hollywood. No word when a debut screening will take place, but it will debut on Apple TV on May the 29th. That's all the time I have for your 5 o'clock news. We'll be back at 6 o'clock with your local headlines. National news is next.